New at 4, officials across the metro will say out loud that building facilities to attract youth sports is not a competition. They all say bringing in teams from other states is good for all of the metro.
John Chapman tells us those keeping score right now say Omaha is behind in the game.
Earlier this summer, the city of Omaha announced plans to give the 50-year-old Tranquility Park a $54 million facelift, converting the soccer complex into a regional youth sports attraction, creating more than a dozen multi-purpose artificial turf fields and shiny brand new baseball and softball diamonds. The plan is to keep Omaha youth sports teams and their dollars in Omaha for their tournament play and to attract youth sports teams from around the region to Omaha. Officials believe that will bring tens of millions of dollars each year into the city. City officials expect the entire project to be complete by 2027. But over in Council Bluffs, they're already running full speed in the youth sports game. And right now, they're widening the gap between CB and Omaha. Officials cut the ribbon on the Iowa West Wrestling Center, adding another sports feature to the Iowa West Fieldhouse that already hosts youth sports in volleyball and basketball. Two-time NCAA All-American wrestler and former Olympian George Ivanoff will train and coach the athletes and operate his Best Wrestler program here. He tells us the program will teach much more than wrestling.
Our job is to develop the sport of wrestling in the community, in the Midwest as a whole, but also use a lot of those lessons to develop good individuals that will serve the community later on.
Ivanoff plans to grow the program, and the Bulgarian native has hopes of bringing in wrestlers to compete from around the world.
We are actually wanting to do some international tournaments, invite wrestlers from different countries, and just provide opportunities for the kids to compete with someone they don't see on a regular basis.
Youth sports is big in Council Bluffs. Every year, the Slump Buster Baseball Tournament brings teams from across the country to the Council Bluffs Recreation Complex, and they bring out-of-town dollars with them.
Every time somebody comes into the community from an outside, they're spending money at their hotel, at their restaurants, getting gas. All of that brings taxpayer money back into Council Bluffs so that we can reinvest.
The wrestling program will add to the list of facilities in Council Bluffs for young athletes in the metro area.
Between the Iowa West Sportsplex, the Field House, the Mid-America Center, the Council Bluffs Recreation Complex, we've got the space for it, and we've got the hotels to accommodate that. So it's huge. It's one of our biggest things.
And so far, everything is working out for youth sports in Council Bluffs and the Council Bluffs economy. On your side in Council Bluffs, I'm John Chapman, 6 News.
Iowa West Foundation officials tell us this is the final addition to the Iowa West Fieldhouse. Officials point out that wrestling facilities are community space. And if you'd like more information on the community use hours and scholarships and programs, we have a link on this story at WOWT.com.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel today, meeting